Hey guys, Adam here, and I wanted to include this little prologue to this episode to apologize for the mic issues on my end. I don't know what happened when we recorded yesterday, but I guess Audacity, even though it said it was hooking up to my regular mic that I use for these episodes, it decided to revert back to using my headset that I use to isolate the sound so I could hear Jordan a lot better. So that's why the audio on my end for this week's episode is going to sound a little like a slightly better version of how it was on our debut episode, which is kind of fitting, I must say. Uh, you'll understand why when we go into this episode, but it's ironically, I think it's a fitting conclusion to the Batman series as a whole. That something would happen on our end. So just wanted to include this little intro explaining the fuck up, and sorry, won't happen again. Hopefully, maybe.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode. I don't know why I almost said exciting before episode, but whatever.
You can start over if you want.
Episode. No, no, it's okay. Episode of Point and Click. As always, I am Adam Razak.
And I am Jordan C. Johnson.
And today we are finishing off Batman Season 1 with the finale, City of Light. Which...
Yes. Man, I felt like it's like the last episode of Wolf Among Us all over again, except I'd say for slightly different reasons.
It's worse.
But oh yeah, I would agree that it's worse, but it's
way worse.
Just disappointing.
Because with Wolf Among Us, I still felt like with the finale there was still stuff that I really appreciated about it.
Sure, it's really just the ending that's a problem for me.
Yeah, it's the fact that they tease a second season at a really inappropriate time.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that problem is quadrupled with City of Light.
Uh-huh.
I think when you texted me about like the whole Batman doesn't kill crap bothering you, that actually finally it clicked in my head why I was not getting along with this episode initially, because it never gives you any agency over how you deal with these characters, these villains. It's just, and I know we're jumping into the deep end here, but it's like,
well, I mean, yeah, you're right, and I think it starts actually with something I forgot to mention in the last episode, which is where I went as Batman to confront Harvey on the rooftop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that, I'm holding him over, off the edge of the building.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get to choose whether or not you drop him or not. You just can't kill him. Which, to me, is I feel like I can't explain that for anything beyond just it's Batman and they're going off that whole stupid Batman doesn't kill bullshit, which is completely meaningless and dumb. But I just feel like that's a moment where every part of me was like, drop him! Why aren't you fucking dropping this guy? He is destroying Gotham. Why do I want him to walk away from this? And they don't give you the choice. You don't have the agency.
Well, that's the biggest problem with these last couple of episodes, is that it's better explained in a lot of other media, Batman-related stuff, why Batman doesn't kill. And I think it has to do with his own moral code regarding him not wanting to take a life, which I can respect. And they do explain it very well in other things. And even times when he does kill, like in Batman vs. Superman, I think it's well-reasoned and it doesn't bother me like it bothers a lot of people.
But I mean, that goes out the window when you're the one defining what that moral code is supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like you
No,
can't.
exactly.
Yeah, you can't force someone into, and that makes no sense in a game where the whole point is you making those moral decisions. If you just remove that and make him go by some phantom code based off of comic books, it's like there's no, that's completely unsatisfying. You're not shaping anything at that point.
Well, it's like, why even bother doing a Batman series if you're not going to let the player define where that morality stands?
Right.
If it's just going to stick it to like the old guard of Batman doesn't kill, it's like, that's not interesting, because now I know what he's going to do, and I'm the
Right.
one playing as him.
Yeah.
So,
The
yeah.
whole point of these games is supposed to be agency, and
Yeah.
without that, I mean, it's just a big illusion.
It's like if Lee had a moral code where it's like, he doesn't kill. And it's like, do you know how much tension would be taken away
Right.
from season 1 if it was some stupid bullshit code where, oh, Lee doesn't murder, or Lee can't hurt women or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crap. And it's made worse by the fact they were doing so well these last couple of episodes with, trying to redefine the Batman mythos and trying out new things. And then right when it needs to stick its landing, it just goes back to the old shit.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into all that, but oh man, was I frustrated by this episode.
I
So,
feel I feel so disillusioned by Telltale. Right? It's like these last 2 episodes, the last 3 actually have just been
well,
us like just criticizing Telltale, and now I'm like, wow, is
well,
Telltale really crappy?
kind
I'm
of. I
starting
mean,
to think that.
I think I had more positives than you did about the last few.
Okay.
But yeah, this one. Let's start with Let's start with the opening, because I know
Yeah.
we dealt with the endings of the last episode differently. So, what happened for you at the beginning of this?
This one, it's simply where you are watching these soldiers attack. I forget who it was. It's like a higher political figure in the city, and they're attacking him along with a couple of other citizens, and then I think they shoot one of them, or at least they dangle one of them off a building or something like that. And Batman has to come in without his gadgets and defeat them. And that's really about it. It's a simple opening like that. Nothing really noteworthy.
Okay. Well, you should be glad you made that choice, because
Oh no.
you missed one hell of a bullshit scene. This scene for me, if I had to choose maybe like the most egregious scene in a Telltale game,
Ooh.
this might be it for me. So mine began because for me Harvey was still on the loose at the beginning of this episode, and he is burning down Wayne Manor. So this episode begins with you confronting him at Wayne Manor, and he is like killing civilians and he's terrorizing people. The bottom line of this scene is you wind up having this confrontation with him like one-on-one. And if you can kind of talk him, it's kind of like the ending of the first Mass Effect, where you can sort of talk the villain into suicide. But the twist is you can't let him commit suicide. It gets to the point where he has the gun up to his head and is about to pull the trigger. And to me, I was like, it gives you the option to stop him. And I was like, no. He needs to be out. This guy is like beyond redemption. He is killing innocent people, destroying lives. No, he's done. It's over. I'm gonna let him do it. So he kills himself, and then I get a game over screen.
Wait,
So,
what? Whoa, what?
yeah, if you let him kill
What?
himself, it's game over, and you have to replay the scene and stop him. Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Yep.
Wow. Okay, I'm glad I didn't get that then.
Yeah, it was. I was shocked. I was flabbergasted. I
Wow.
couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, "Are you serious? You really have no choice. You can't let him kill himself. You have to just like send him to Arkham. That is absurd. That is so absurd. Like Batman can't even kill to the point where he can't even let someone kill themselves. Like, come on. Are you? Yeah, I was not happy. At that point, I basically felt checked out of the episode. I was like, okay, none of this matters. You're just gonna make me choose what you want. I can't really do anything here, and that's pretty much how it played out.
I don't know why I find that so funny.
Because it's so unexpected.
I just imagine it in my head, just you standing there, and then Two-Face just shoots himself, and it's just game over.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
That's it.
What?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Jesus Christ. Wow. Okay.
I mean, that's kind of that moment really is what defines this episode for me. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what else to say because that moment is so horrendously awful that it was hard for me to recover after that. And honestly,
Wow.
most of the other stuff that happens isn't much of an improvement.
Well, I also I almost forgot. So I don't know if this happens in the other. Even if you stop the penguin, I don't know if this happens in in your playthrough. But the way you deal with penguin in my playthrough is that he's at a Cobblepot Park, and he's got the Wayne Tech drones coming after people and like trying to shoot at them and stuff like that. So you have to go there as Bruce Wayne. They don't give you the option either to deal with him as Batman or Bruce Wayne. You have to go as Bruce, and you kind of have to distract him while Commissioner. Well, I guess not Commissioner yet. While Gordon tries to find a way to destroy this like central box that's controlling the drones and stuff like that. And even no matter what you do, no matter how many ways you try to distract Cobblepot, he's gonna see Gordon eventually. He's gonna start shooting, and then you have to attack, and then the drones get taken down eventually, and Penguin gets arrested. Which he doesn't even wear the mask. He just wears the. At least I don't. That's the thing. I don't remember. Like I'm in my head. I see him without the mask, but he might have had the mask. But whatever. That scene is just. It's underwhelming. It's nothing like offensively terrible like the fucking Two-Face thing, but it's it's just underwhelming.
Yeah, it just sounds very anticlimactic.
Yeah. And you're not even allowed to deal with him as Batman, which is what I wanted to do, but the game's like, no, you must go as Bruce to appeal to him, to like his nostalgia towards you. It's like,
that's dumb because if you deal with him at the end of the last episode, you get to go as Batman and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. Well, it's like, even if you... Because, like, why would the Penguin even listen to you with him... You, like, almost killing him under the influence of the toxin? It's like, why would he care? Why would he give you the time of day?
What is up with all the weird narrative funneling in this? Like, it feels excessive even for Telltale. Like, I know that they have a history of doing this to a certain degree, but this just feels really out of control in this series.
There's some leeway, even in past series, like The Walking Dead Season 1, Walking Dead Season 2, Game of Thrones even, there is leeway to where you can influence what happens. And it's like, this is just, it's almost like they want you, they want all players to reach this certain point at the end. It doesn't even matter what you do in, like, the very last scene. They just want players at this one specific point, making these one specific choices, and it's like, to me, this was just heartbreaking. Like, I that's the other word besides like underwhelming, disappointing, just heartbreaking, because I really was rooting for this, and I really wanted this series to be great, but it's just, this is like one of the worst turnarounds I've ever seen for one of their series. This is, to me, this is the opposite of how I felt initially about like Tales from the Borderlands, where I thought initially that was going to be the one that would lose me, but that ended up really winning me back. This is like the exact opposite, where I was so on board with this, and I was really loving a lot of the changes they were bringing to it, but just, no, they just decided not to keep going. They just wanted to set up a Season 2, which probably is going to happen. And if they do, I'm really not going to be interested in playing it.
To be honest, I don't really care about following through with it. This is the first Telltale game where I'm kind of like, I don't really want to play the second season. I feel like no desire after this.
I mean, I will eventually, but it's like, it's not like Walking Dead Season 3 where I'm like, yes, I'm ready for it. I'm just, when they finally announce it in whatever December of whatever year, it's just going to be, oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
I'd be more excited for Wolf Among Us 2 at this point. Like,
I would love a Wolf Among Us 2.
I'd be much more interested in that. I'd be much more interested in, like, when I'm going to be more interested when they announce the Game of Thrones second season.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
wasn't even all that crazy about the finale, but it's like,
I
I'd be
think
down to play that.
Yeah, I think there are problems with the Game of Thrones finale and problems with the Wolf Among Us finale, but
Yeah.
beyond before that, I think Game of Thrones and Wolf Among Us are some of Telltale's best work.
Oh yeah.
Still, I love those. I mean, they're Wolf Among Us especially is hampered by the ending, but
Yeah.
it's still really solid.
So the Selena Kyle ending.
Mm,
I
ugh.
mm,
I hated it. I hated it. It just felt like another situation where you had no agency. It was just going to play out the way it played out, and that's it. And
Yeah.
it's just very frustrating. I felt, I don't know, that character is kind of frustrating because I appreciate that they're making her sort of cagey and reluctant to engage personally because that fits with her character as she's been established. But
mhm.
to send her off like this gets to a point where I just feel like there's just no other option, and she's so hardened in that way that it's just not really it's not just that it's unsatisfying. It just feels wrong on a character level to me for her to never have like any moment to like let you through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's too easy, I think.
Yeah, it's them. It's them taking the old influence of Catwoman and then bringing it into this new perception of her, and it doesn't work because we're used to her, like her and Bruce potentially having a sexual relationship, and then it just goes right back to how she was in like every other portrayal of her, where she's just guarded, she's just gonna cut her losses and run, and there's no way to convince her to stay and fight by your side. It's just,
And I think, yeah, and as you're bringing that up, that's a good point. That would have been a way more interesting and satisfying way to close that arc out. But I think part of the problem is, too, that if I felt like maybe there was a chance down the road in like a second season where maybe this is going to go somewhere more interesting, then I feel like I could live with this as like a temporary setback with the character, which I think would also make sense with the character. But I'm getting to the point now where I'm realizing with all these Telltale games, I feel like none of them so far have like really come to a satisfying conclusion with the characters, except for maybe Walking Dead Season 1. But that was before Telltale became this, we're going to just do tons and tons of seasons of everything. So now I just kind of feel like it's the same problem with a lot of TV shows now, where it's so serialized and they just keep dangling the carrot in front of you that it's just like, well, down the road, down the road, down the road. It's like, look, you have to give catharsis eventually. You can't, if you never give me any kind of satisfaction or catharsis by just dangling this next season carrot in every series you do, eventually I'm going to lose faith that you're ever going to give me any catharsis or satisfaction. So I'm just going to stop caring. And that's when things start to feel lazy and things start to feel formulaic, and then when you start to check out and not be involved in what's happening because you can see it coming because they're so it's like The Walking Dead, like that show, the TV show, where it's so formulaic in what it does that after a while you're just like, I don't care anymore because nothing is going to be surprising because I know exactly what you're going to do for the conceivable future. Maybe not exactly narratively, but thematically and tonally, and that all ideologically, all of that is going to be so easy to figure out ahead of time that there's nothing interesting or insightful anymore. You're just, for me, eventually it becomes very boring, and that's kind of how I felt about the Selena scene. I'm like, there's no hope of this ever going anywhere interesting down the road because Telltale has never given me any hope at this point that they will go somewhere interesting with it down the road. It's just a dangling carrot.
well, it starts to feel like Telltale is losing their voice, which,
Right.
It's like the more they keep doing these series and setting up for second seasons, it's like it's like they're so focused on the future that they're not making a priority to already like wrap up what they're doing before. It's like what Marvel does now, where it's like every movie that comes out is just setting up the next one without providing something satisfying,
Right.
like right there in the moment.
Right.
And it's like it's just start. I mean, God
It's, I
damn
mean,
it.
I mean, it's
Oh,
sort of a natural effect of serialized storytelling, which
yeah.
everyone is so obsessed with right now, and which I have never liked. And this is a big reason why, because it just becomes about this extended narrative to, it essentially starts to just feel like a cash in. Like you're just trying to
Yes.
string viewers
Exactly.
along to keep them with you by never really giving them what they want. Like, I think South Park parodied that perfectly with the whole Game of Thrones trilogy they did with the Black Friday trilogy, where
Yeah.
they just kept making fun of how this show never gives you anything. It just keeps telling you down the road there'll be something, but you never
Yeah.
get there. So it's like, what's the point of this? It's like just filming like a 50-hour movie that and never having a climax. It just becomes like this masturbatory repetitive nonsense after a while.
I think I don't agree that Walking Dead season 1 might be the only series to have a satisfying
Oh, I know.
internal
You love
conclusion.
Tales from the
I love
Borderlands.
Tales from the Borderland. I love Walking Dead season 2. I love where my story ends with that.
Yes,
Like
actually, I'll give you
I
that.
don't even need a season 3. I mean I'm really liking season 3, which is good, but
Yeah,
it's
you're
I
right.
didn't need it. Even Michonne I think ends really well. Like if they had
Yeah.
just released Michonne by itself, I think that her arc in that story, like I don't ever need to see her again. I think
Sure.
where they end that is great.
Yeah, I
And
think that's a good point.
to an extent, I think like um, where they were with Minecraft before they started going like overboard with the expansion packs with it.
Which I still have not played
But
yet.
ugh, um, mm, uh, it's just
Oh,
there's a point where it just I wish they would just end it and they just keep going and we haven't even gotten to like the part that pissed me off the most about this episode is the very last scene because I think it that like sums up so many of my problems with not only
the
this
Joker
series but
thing.
yes, oh my
Yeah.
god, it's like one I don't want to see Joker in season 2 because I we've
Oh,
gone
you're
over this
gonna.
like I don't like this version of the Joker or I don't like that it just ends with just cut to black, and it's like, oh, you get attacked. Woohoo! Who cares? It sucks.
Yeah.
And then okay. The one thing we're going all over the place, but the one thing I do actually like that they hint at in this episode that could have gone somewhere interesting thematically if they had introduced this earlier is the idea that the reason like Vale is twisted like this is because of the abuse from her foster parents.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in concept is interesting because we see these three central villains, Lady Arkham, Two-Face, Penguin. They are all distorted by outside influences, the cruelties that they suffered, or like the because we never really are told why Harvey Dent has the second split personality, but we assume it's from some kind of childhood trauma, some kind of terrible event that's happened, and these people are all like villains because of what outer influences have done to them. And
Mm-hmm.
there's almost this like element of sympathy. Like they kind of tease it with, particularly with Lady Arkham. They don't follow up with it. They don't really follow through with it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's there to an extent. But after that, and that was actually a pretty disturbing scene to see that. Like I didn't even need to see like her being chained up and tortured as a child. I just need to see that compartment, and I was like, oh, I get it. This sucks. Like it's really this is terrible, and I felt that, but I didn't feel like the episode really does anything with it because it's just a
Mm-hmm.
generic villain dies at the end kind of thing, which is
Right.
bullshit for a Batman game.
Yeah, and I mean, beyond that, it's not a very interesting reason. Like,
No.
I feel like it's a very easy and cliched reason for that. You know what I mean? It's like the whole trauma making you bad. I mean, it's like it's been done to death. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I think that this didn't do anything unique or interesting with it. I don't know. I think it maybe could have been more interesting if they hadn't just gone full on with it. Like, I feel like there were hints of it in some of the earlier episodes where the episode when she first killed them, I was like, well, it seems like maybe there was something going on here, and
Yeah.
like they could have maybe just subtly pushed at that a little bit instead of giving me a whole explanation later. But
Yeah.
speaking of that whole sequence, how fucking ridiculous is it that Batman can get perfect three-dimensional images off a reflection in glasses? That is insane.
I don't know. Like
That is insane technology to put in a game.
I don't know. I was like, well, he's Batman. Okay.
I was not okay. Like, you know what? Grappling hooks and fingerprints and digital layouts. Okay, all day, fine. But getting like full detailed images off of glasses reflections you can barely see in a videotape. Yeah, that took me out of the game.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. See, I just was like, well, he's Batman. I assume he has some shit like this, so
I guess.
okay, because he always can think ahead somehow. So he always
Sure.
reads the scripts, so he knows what's coming next. So he can develop technology based around that.
Oh yeah, just like Adam West.
Yeah, the bat spray in the movie.
Yeah,
I mean
that
the shark spray.
Yeah, that I buy.
I don't know. Is that really any? Well, I mean, it's just as ridiculous, but I think
yeah, but the tone of
charming.
the tone of that matches how
Sure.
ridiculous that is.
It's charming in different ways, in my opinion.
Yeah, this they stuck that technology in the middle of like a serious exploration of child abuse, so like it's a little bit different tonally.
I would have preferred if a shark had come out and attacked him like right there. That'd be great. I'd like the game then.
Yeah, I'm down.
But it's like just this, and then we get to going back to Arkham Asylum and having this long drawn out battle with Lady Arkham who I just don't. And then of course we have to get that scene where Batman has to unmask himself or can't, which leads to Alfred being half blind. But I don't know. It's just this is okay. How I feel about the finale to this episode is just like how I feel about like any generic Marvel movie I can think of from the last couple of years. Like to me, it's just people punching each other. It's how I felt about Civil War. It's like people just punching each other, people yelling and screaming about crap, and something happens at the end. Like I don't feel invested anymore. I'm just watching noise. I'm just watching noise set to images, and it's just so fucking it's just disassociation. I think that's the word.
Yeah, it's just
disassociation.
right. It's I mean, you just after a while, it's just hard to feel involved when it just starts to feel like nothing of consequence is going to result from this.
Yeah, like I could have just closed my eyes and had the same experience just watching it.
Right.
And how speaking of like Batman doesn't kill, like they push that shit throughout the entire finale, and yet when Batman has the chance to save Lady Arkham, he just lets her get crushed by a pillar. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
That's one of my. Oh, I hate it when they do that in any Batman thing ever. When even like in the Dark Knight movies, that I mostly like, they have those moments where it's like almost all the Batman movies have those moments where it's like, I don't kill, Batman doesn't kill, and yet he's more than fine, like having Catwoman shoot Bane, or pushing Harvey off the bridge to his death, or tying Joker to the statue so he falls to his death. It's like have some fucking consistency. Don't push this bullshit and then have it where you just break your own rule like right there just for convenience. It's just stop being lazy. Just stop.
And
Stop
there's no like other way that scene can play out, right?
No,
Like that's it.
Well, it's the only way it can play out is if you don't unmask yourself. You can either unmask yourself,
Which
and then
I did not unmask myself, by the way.
So Bruce at that point will get like his ear torn off or something. Like a chunk of his ear will be like blasted off by that staff that she has.
Oh, see, in mine, Alfred like goes blind in one eye because of that staff.
Yeah. It's either way. I'm just kind of like, there's like I think it would have been better if Alfred could die in the last episode.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's that provides some stakes. That provides some kind of fuel to Batman's fire.
Right,
He's
and
like
then
lost
and
his
then
father
maybe
figure.
yeah, and then maybe if that happens as a consequence of you not taking your mask off, then you feel like a consequence happened because of you not taking your mask
Yeah.
off. Whereas now it's just like kind of like you know either Batman gets hurt or Alfred gets hurt. I mean, okay, it's not
Yeah.
like either way. It's not much. It's not very dramatic the way that plays out.
No, it's and then, uh, just ugh. Is there? I can't even think of anything to talk about anymore because I'm just. To me, this whole episode is just like this big blur of crap.
Yeah, like there's really nothing remarkable or like good
Oh.
about it. It's just nothing.
It's just a sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's there's really not much else to say about this.
I'm like struggling to come up with anything. Just some breadcrumb of anything, and I'm just I can't. And that sucks. That should not be the case with these games.
Yeah, it's a weak one. It's one of my least favorites for sure.
I think this might be my least favorite that we've covered so far. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. For me, the runner-ups before this would have been the train episode of Walking Dead, but that has better. That certainly has better highs
The
than
writing.
this.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. It's just what the fuck are you doing, Telltale?
Yeah,
Stop
it's
doing this to us.
I wonder, like, how much. I wonder what was involved in, like, the deal they made with DC for this. Like, if there
Yeah.
were stipulations about what they could and couldn't do, and I don't know. It feels very, like, warped to me. It feels like it's very much being forced into a box that it doesn't really belong in.
Yeah, it's like that. Like them, I understood like them. And I liked this with The Walking Dead, where it's an established universe, but they tell their own story in it. And it's the same thing with Tales from the Borderlands. It's a world we've seen before, but it's new characters with new situations. Maybe some past ties to the other games, but it's the same spirit and tone, just with new people. But when you have games like this that have such like an iconic, well-known figure behind it, it feels like there's only so much they can do, I guess, in the end. Because, people will buy this, and it will make a ton of money for them. So, obviously, they're going to want a Season 2. And I feel like it's going to be even worse with Marvel now. Where, like, they're not even going to allow you to play as any of the other Guardians. It's just Star-Lord the whole time.
Is it?
So, yeah, it's just Star-Lord.
I'm kind of surprised they're. Well, I guess I don't know how else they would do it. I'm a little surprised they're using the actual characters. I mean, I guess it'll be sort of like this, where it's like an alternate version of the character.
I don't know. Well, they obviously can't make it M like this one.
Yeah.
So it's. I mean, if it was, I'd have more enthusiasm for it. But after playing this, I'm just like, and this, the only hope I have left for Telltale at this point is just their new IP, like their brand new original story that they're going to come out with eventually, will actually take those risks. And if they don't, that's like, I'm done.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where, I mean, for the longest time, ever since I first played the first Walking Dead, I've been on I've just been, I will play anything they release. Everything you do, I will get. I don't care what the property is, I'll do it. But after this and some of the other recent things, it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I might start getting pickier. I'm not sure I'm going to play everything at this point. I mean, I will for this podcast, but beyond that, I don't know if I would care as much.
I just feel like, and I've said this before, I just feel like other games are taking what Telltale should be doing and making it better.
Sure.
And they had a golden opportunity with this. Like, they really did. They set up, and it's like, the whole tension with Bruce Wayne's parents being these, like, horrible, corrupt people, that's just waved away at the end. They never even really addressed that at all. There's no consequences for that.
Yeah.
It's just this, like, empowering speech at the end about, oh, well, I will do my best to restore the Wayne reputation. And it's like everybody is just, cheering and excited again. And it's like, It's like, weren't you just about to, like, tear my car apart in the last episode? Where did,
Yeah.
like, this newfound goodwill come from?
Yeah. And, it's just... I've been recently, again, playing through the Mass Effect trilogy, and it's just comparing, how some of the decisions can play out in that versus this. It's really just like, wow. I mean, it's not even close. Like the consequences and how giant things can be closed or available or whatever. It's just it just really just feels like there is no choice in this.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, again, I know Mass Effect has the problem with the actual ending of the whole trilogy, but
Oh, yeah.
but leading up to that, I
No,
mean,
it's great.
yeah, a lot of different things can happen leading up to that.
Yeah, which I'll say this in complimenting Mass Effect, that scene in 3 when you have to choose between, I think it's Legion or Tali, which one gets the axe? It's
Or
like, to me, that is like, I was so traumatized when, like, Tali died.
sure,
Like,
but or the great thing about that too is they also give you other choices. You don't.
Yeah.
There are ways where neither of them has to die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the whole point of these games is those choices. That if you really want a certain result, you can work and make it happen. Not just you shouldn't just be forced into what they want.
God damn it, Telltale. God damn it.
Well, that's. I mean, I don't know where else to go with this. Like, it's just a very disappointing episode.
I think awkward silence should just be the title of this episode.
I mean, this episode deserves it.
Yeah. I feel so just about this episode that I don't even want to. I just want to talk about other games that are better.
Well,
Better
thankfully,
than this.
we will with Walking Dead.
Thank God. It's finally we're getting to season 2. We're done.
Yes.
I can wipe my hands clean of Batman. For now, I'm done.
Yep.
I'm done. I can talk about season 2, which is much better than 8.
Yes, definitely. And I will also say, I mean, we'll get to it, but I am not hating the first episode of season 2 of Walking Dead as much as I did last time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. But do you still dislike it, or?
I think it's weak and has problems, but
Okay.
it's. I mean, compared to this shit.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say season 3, and I was gonna go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Season 3, I think already these last. Again, I'm gonna wait until the finale happens before I like really go whole hog on praising it. But so far, I'm really liking what I'm playing from season 3 so far.
Nice. I'm not gonna start it until we start recording about it. So
I wish I had your your willpower.
I got it. Well, after this, I'm not
Yeah.
super like thrilled, but
We have
Yeah,
Mass Effect in a couple months, so
oh shit. I mean, we're gonna have to call this podcast off.
no, I agreed. We might have to call this off when Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts is 2 weeks after this. We might have to skip a
man.
week because I'm gonna be
Well-
like, sorry, Jordan, I got to play Kingdom Hearts.
Well, thankfully, these these episodes are pretty brief, so
Yeah.
like it's not too hard to like. All right, I'll take a 2-hour break and
Yeah.
finish Telltale.
I don't know. I'm probably gonna have glue my own ass to the seat to be in front of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
No, we'll think of something. So top 5, I guess.
I mean, mine's not affected.
No,
I don't think either
mine
of us
neither.
are. So why? I don't even think we need to go through it.
No, it's my number 1
But-
is still Walking Dead season 1 finale. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, and I do think though we should start once we finish seasons, rank the seasons that we've done as well,
Oh yeah, okay.
which I think is pretty easy.
This is obvious on this. Okay, so I guess final, just for the sake of consistency, because I said this at the end of season 1 as well. Final thoughts on Batman, the series as a whole.
I think it has some strong moments early on and in the middle. I think episodes 2, 3, and 4 are all good, especially 2 and 3, which I think are very good episodes for Telltale. It's just really, really. I mean, there's a real sour taste in my mouth at this point after this terrible finale episode. So, I mean, it sucks because I mean, It's, I mean, how much weight do you put into that ending and how it colors the rest of it? I mean, for the most part, I enjoyed the ride, but this ending really hurts it.
Well, this brings up an interesting like internal thing where you mentioned last, I think one of the previous episodes where like I think I'm, and let me know if I'm misquoting you, but like where the journey is more important than the destination or something along those
Sure.
lines. I this series, like playing this and the Final Fantasy 15 in like relatively the same time, really cemented how much I personally care about the destination. Like
Sure.
you could have a shit journey, like really you could, but if the ending is fantastic, I'm gonna look back on it with like a slightly more positive experience because I will be like, okay, all that crap was worth
I
it
mean,
getting to
it's
this.
it's not like a hard rule, obviously, and
For me, it kind of is, like a little bit.
I wouldn't say that. I think the individual work of art dictates how important that is or is not. I think there are. I think an example is there are lots of older movies that have compromised endings because of how the studio system was at the
Yeah,
time, but
true,
the movies are still great. I mean,
sure,
Bigger Than Life is a phenomenal fucking movie. It's like a masterpiece, but the ending is seriously compromised and problematic. But I mean, that's just kind of comes with the territory of making an edgy movie in the Hollywood system in the 50s. So the ending of that is a problem, but the movie is so interesting anyway that it's not that important. But there are other movies where the ending can redefine that, and the ending whatever. I
yeah,
mean, it can be important. I mean, endings are important. I'm not saying they're not, but
sure.
it can it can vary. I don't think like the ending of Mass Effect 3 destroys how fucking amazing everything leading up to it is. But I think part of that is that the journey in the Mass Effect trilogy is so much longer than the journey in Batman season 1. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean? Like, you have a lot more journey to fall back on when
yeah.
your ending is bad versus this when your ending is bad, you have maybe a lot less journey to fall back on.
In my mind, I kind of like, I don't know, like, and I know this sounds strange, but I kind of compare it a little bit to Mass Effect, how that ended, where, like, even, like, Andromeda, I wish I could be really excited for it, but my mind is still, whenever I think of Mass Effect, I just think of the ending. Like, that's
Yeah.
my first go-to, and I'm
Yeah,
just,
that's
ugh.
I mean, I definitely don't share that at all.
Uh. No, I know, and it's just a personal thing for me where
hmm
like, endings to me are so important, but it's like you really got to stick that landing. But when something doesn't, it just makes me go like, ugh, just it just leaves me with a bad, like you said, a bad taste in my mouth. Just makes me
hmm
feel really dejected and just disappointed. Like when
Yeah.
something doesn't end well, because I really like, to me, like the ending can make something great, but it just doesn't. Like the new Star Wars film. I think like without that ending, I don't think the film would be anywhere near as good as I think it is. Without those last, like the last third of it, which I think is
Right.
spectacular.
Well, and I mean, that's an ending that is announces itself as being very important.
Yeah.
Whereas, I think for me, I don't know. Like, I still think, like, I don't hate The Wolf Among Us because that ending is so unsatisfying. Because I don't
No.
think the ending positioned itself as being all that important, really, in the context of that season.
Sure.
But like I said, it varies on. It depends on what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sometimes it matters more than others.
It's just a strange personal thing I have with endings. I just like endings. Um, but yeah, that's been Batman City of Light. Yeah.
Yeah,
Overall
that's
thoughts
it.
on the series, it's just like you said, great beginning, lots of promise, and then they just completely dropped the ball at the end, which is starting to become kind of a unfortunate pattern with Telltale. And this is the worst example I've ever seen of it from them,
hmm
and probably the most like personally disappointing one, just because of how big I am about Batman. And it's like, God damn it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. Visit our Twitter at a Telltale Pod. It's capital A, capital T, capital P. Next time we will be starting Walking Dead season 2. Thank God, and I hope you guys have a good day.
All right.